Hi, this is Bob Maxwell with R.A. Maxwell & Associates, and today I want to talk to you about our MHS 121 KS Series horizontal portion control slicer. This unit is an analog system, so we have our dial here for our measurements in millimeters. So for example, if you're slicing at 6 millimeters, that's about 1/4 of an inch. So you would just take the dial, put it on 6. This dial is for the speed of our takeaway conveyor. Now typically this machine does not come with the takeaway conveyor, so this is an option that we added for our customer. But this controls the speed, so anywhere from 0 up to 100% of the maximum speed, so you'll see that in a minute. Machine comes with an emergency stop switch, so if you do get in trouble, just hit the stop switch, machine will shut off, turn the stop switch, and we'll go ahead and reactivate the program. The way that you turn the machine on is you have an on-off locking mechanism here. So if you do have a lockout tagout issue, you can go ahead and put that right on this switch here. Now you'll notice that this green light is on. That tells you that all the safeties are working. So we have 3 safeties in this machine. We have one here in this door, and if you notice when you lift the door, the light starts flashing. That's why you know if there's a safety issue. When you shut it, okay, and it completes the circuit, then the flashing light goes out. The other place that we have a switch is in the rear door, same type of thing. Flashes until it makes contact. So what we're going to do is make sure that we have our flap down, make sure our light is solid, so we know all of our safeties are on. Now we're going to go ahead, we would normally put our product into the chamber, and then we have this hold down. So if you can picture your pork loin here, you're going to have your hold down. You close your hold down, close your flap, make sure that your light is solid. All right, so this is our analog control. Okay, so you can see it goes from 1 millimeter up to 31 millimeters in length. That controls the length of your cut. So for example, if you're cutting at 1/4 inch, that's 6 millimeters. And so we just put our dial right to 6. If you're doing 1 inch, then you turn your dial to 25 millimeters, and then you're at 1 inch. Okay, now we have 2 different types of blade type controls. The first one here is if you're using a single blade, and we have a stepper motor. So you'll see when we turn that on, it's going to go in increments. It's going to move in increments of 25 millimeters or 1 inch. This control in this position is if you're using a double blade. Okay, and what you're going to see when we turn the machine on is instead of the gripper moving at a stepping motion of 25 inches, what we're going to see is this is just going to continually move the product through because you have 2 blades cutting at the same time. So you can go from 200 cuts a minute on this machine up to 400 cuts a minute if you have a gentle product that can be cut with a double knife. Otherwise, 200 slices per minute. Okay. This chamber is 100 millimeters long, 100 centimeters long. Okay, so you can hold a product up to about 38 inches in length with this particular type of chamber. Okay. Now, we're going to assume that we have our pork loin in. We have our hold down, holding the product down. We want to cut those pork chops in 25 millimeter increments or 1 inch increments. We are going to use a single blade. So we're going to turn the dial here to a single blade. Make sure that our emergency stop is off, and then we go ahead and we push our button. Now you can see how the pusher is moving in 1 inch increments. Now it automatically retracts So another feature on this particular machine is, let's say that because this chamber is 38 inches long and your product maybe is only 1.5 feet long. Instead of wasting all that time for the gripper to come all the way back and then move forward, you can actually limit the distance of your gripper by utilizing this button. Let's say that your product is here. So we're going to take this button, we're going to move back until there. We stop it with our stop button. Now, each time that you run the machine and it goes through the final cut, now the gripper is going to move back to that new position. Okay? What that does is that saves a tremendous amount of time by this not having to move the full length. So whatever the length of your product is, you can limit that with this machine. Outstanding feature. All right? Now, we want to talk about the conveyor, the takeaway conveyor. The way that this works is once the machine is running, you're going to see that, let's say we're going to set it at 50% of its speed. Now this belt travels at 3 feet per minute. Okay, so obviously 50% of that is 1.5 feet per minute, right? So the slower you run your conveyor, the more shingling effect that you're going to get on your product. Okay, if you want your product to have a larger shingle, or you just want to lay one piece after another, then what you're going to do is speed up your belt. Right, so you can fully control how your product discharges. This is how it works. We're going to go ahead and push our button. Now we'll start to move forward. Now you can see the belt move. Let's say that we want to shingle that at a wider distance or do one slice repetitively. Then what we're going to do is put this on 100%. We're going to start our... And now you can see how fast it's traveling at 3 feet per minute. Okay, so that pretty well covers the operation of the machine. Now what we're going to want to talk about is how to clean the machine. Now how we clean the machine is very simple. You can take this, you can remove the gripper, okay? The gripper comes off. You put that in your Jaros utility or utensil washer at the end of the day to wash all your products. Thank you. Okay, then you're going to come over and we're going to open our door. We're always going to make sure that we unplug our machine before we do any cleaning. Now your conveyor is on swivel type conveyors, locking conveyors. So even though it's attached, you can still swing that open without having to remove the conveyor. And here's where you have your blade. Okay? So how do you wash this? Simple. You go to the other end, you get your power washer, your hose, you hose this right out. Okay? You come over here, you spray out in here, spray out in here. Okay? And then you can either remove the conveyor if you want, if your product is wet or the belt needs to be cleaned. You can go ahead and simply remove that belt and then clean the belt separately. Otherwise, what you're going to want to do is remove this blade and you're going to just take a little hand hone sharpener and just put a little edge on this blade each day. Now, you're going to want to have a second blade, so when you order the machine, you're going to want to buy a second blade. All right? The reason is you want to have one blade on and then have the other blade out being professionally sharpened. Very important to make sure that when this is sharpened, it's balanced. Okay? If this blade comes back and it's not balanced, you're going to damage the seals and the bearings inside of this shaft. All right? So make sure you have it professionally sharpened. So you have two blades, you're running, the other one is out being sharpened, and then you just rotate that out. Okay? We also have different types of blades. So let's say on your normal cut, you're going to be doing about 5 millimeters, the thickness of this blade. Okay, we also have a 3 millimeter blade. All right, and that blade is for thinner cuts. So let's say that you're going to be slicing at an 1/8 inch, or maybe you're doing Philly cheesesteak and you're doing a 0.5 millimeter thick. so you can actually see through the product. It's so thin. All right. On something like that, we would want to go to a 3mm blade instead of 5mm. Okay. And then if you're using a product that's frozen, or you want to do bone-in pork, like pork chops, then we have a serrated blade. Okay, specifically for that. So we have 3 types of blades: 5mm, what standard comes on the machine, a 3mm for your thinner cuts, and then the serrated for your frozen or your bone-in pork products. Okay? Very simple machine, very little maintenance, very few parts. I've been representing this company for almost 15 years now, and we just do not have problems. So if you want a fail-safe machine, if you want a machine that does an outstanding job of slicing your product, and a machine that's easy to clean and easy to maintain and a great price, this is the machine you want to look at. Okay, thank you very much and have a great day.